after that I'll discuss few programs of file handling. So we will first of all start with split function. So split function is basically used to convert any string into list. Suppose I have written I love Python. This string, either it can be variable name or it can be string dot split in bracket, nothing is mentioned, means it will convert this string I love Python into a list based on the space. So you can see here, wherever space was there, from there next element started, then here again space, the next element started, and so on. Similarly, if suppose I want to use any symbol, so you can write hyphen and then split. Inside split you can use either single quote or double quote. So based on hyphen it will divide the string into a list. Similarly, if suppose I want, I can use double quote also. So in this way split function works. Now we will start with the first program. Question number 1. It says write a program that read a text file and creates another file that is identical except that every sequence of consecutive white spaces is replaced by single space. So the program says that we have to open a text file, and text file, whatever exactly same text file should be, another text file should be created. The only difference between two is, suppose there are many spaces in a file, in that case it should eliminate the space and use single space. Suppose I have written I space M space Shilpi. So in new file it should be I space M space Shilpi. In this way the file should be written. So this is the program. I'll explain this. So what the question says, we have to open a file, read it, means it will be opened in read mode, and create a new file in write mode, because content of read should be copied to read1.txt. So first of all I'll just show you the folder. I'll show you this file, read file. read1, I'm deleting it now. Read.txt, this is the notepad file. See, I have written this. You can see 1 space, then 3 spaces, then 5 spaces, so many spaces are there. So it should create a new file with single space between each. So I'll show you the program. Just you can see. So what it will do, initially just to read I have taken a variable s which is equal to space. Just to at least one time this while will execute so that it can read the file. So s is a variable, s is equal to f1 dot read line. This line will read first line from the file, and it will keep on reading. We have used while loop, so till s will contain end of file, till it will keep on reading. So I have used this space here so that at least one time it will execute. So it will come inside and then read the first line. Second option is, what we can do is, here we can, rather than s is equal to space, we can use first time read line, then inside after at the last, like this, at the last also we can use in this way. So it's your wish. So I prefer using space, and after that we can read a line. Once it will read the line, so s1 will split that line. Split that line means whatever line was there, so it will be converted into the list. Each and every word will be converted to a list. So I don't want to print, suppose. Chalo, what I'll do, I'll just run this so that you can see how it converted into a list. You can see it has converted first line into list, second line into list, and third line into list. So I don't want to print it, I'll use hyphen. After that, So one time the first line is read, it is converted to list, and then we will access each and every element of the list. So this we have already used when we were using list manipulation for I in S1. It means I will contain the element, first element. So we will write in F2, we will write that element and single space. Now what will happen? All the spaces will be truncated, only single space will be written. It will write I, means first word is written, then one space, then second word and one space. In this way it will keep on writing. After first line is complete, it will write \n to enter new line character. So it will keep on doing this till the end of file is reached. So I'll run this. It will not give any output because no print statement is there. So to see the file, we'll go to this read one is created. Open this file. You can see all the spaces are truncated and single space are there everywhere. You can see this previous file read, so many spaces are there. So in this way this program works. Now we will go to the second program. The second program is file sports.dat contains information in the following format. So this is the information. First one is event and tilde sign, then participant. So write a program that will read the contents from sports.dat and creates another file named athletics.dat, copying all those records from sports.dat where event name is athletics. So basically we have to open one file in read mode and another file in write mode, and then we have to read, and wherever you can see, first of all what we can do, again split this using this tilde sign, and it will be converted to list with first element this and second element this. So first element, wherever first element is athletics, it should write the row, it should write the record, otherwise it should not write. So I'll show you the program now. So this is the program. It will open sports.dat in read mode and athletics.dat in write mode, so that it should write in the athletics.dat file. Now see, again the same thing I have used, s is equal to space, then reading. Now split function in previous program I used, in this program also I am using, because we have to split using tilde sign. Now it will be converted to a list. The first element will be the event, and second element will be the participant name. So here event, I'll show you the file. So I'll show you the file. You can see here in my folder, file handling, the file athletic I am deleting, and sports.dat file is there. So this is the file. So many records are there separated by tilde sign. You can see here. So this is to be read, and new file should contain this record, then this record and this record. Now see here, this is in small letter and this is in capital letter, but nowhere it is mentioned that it is case sensitive. So we have to consider both the cases. So what we will do is, we will simply access the first element, it is converted into list, dot lower will convert it into lowercase, so that even if it is small, even if it is capital, even it is a title case, so it can identify that it and compare it with athletic, which is small. So if it is there, it will write with the backslash character, so backslash n character, so that new line is embedded. So I'll run this function F5. No output is there because I have not printed anything. So you can see here the file must have been created, athletic file is there, and you can see the output. So 3 records are there, athletic 3 records are there in the new file. So now we will go to the third program. It is the very important program. Mostly it is asked, that is to count the number of to or the in a file. And the important thing is ignore case, means even it is capital T O, even if it is capital T capital O, or it should count all the words. This is mostly used in exams, asked in exams, so please pay attention. So this is the program. So in this we have to count all two in the, so same thing I have followed. To start with infinite loop, to execute infinite loop, s is equal to space, one time at least it will execute. Then first line is read, first line is converted into a list of words. Then for I in S, it will check each and every word. It will check each and every word, means each word will come into I. So first of all we will convert it into lowercase, because it was mentioned ignore case means it should count capital as well as small to or the. So there can be multiple condition. If I is equal to 2, fine, this is a common condition, or I is equal to the, fine. Now if I is the is the last word, so it will have backslash n obviously. If 2 is the last word, it will have backslash n. If after 2 there is a comma, then it should count that. If after the there is a comma, it should count that. If 2 and comma is the last word, it should count that. And if the is the last word with the comma, it should count that also. So all the conditions I have mentioned, in all the cases it will count the words. Finally it will print the number of 2 in the and print it. So I'll run this program. First of all I'll show you the file. So this is the file, name is file1. You can see here, together we will win. Suppose I just want to make it correct, together we will win. If we want to fight against corona, stay at home. See, in this file how many 2 are there? 1, only 1 is there. So just run this program. Function F5, it should count number of 2 and the are 1. So now I'll make changes, that if suppose this the is the last word and 2 comma is the last word, so number of 2 and the will be obviously 3. Function F5, you can see it will count the last word also and last word with the comma also. So the next program is like this program only. The difference is it should count both embedded and non-embedded. Non-embedded means embedded means together. If I am writing in my file TOGETHER, together was written, so it should count that too also. So and the same thing, ignore case. Now the program is here. We have opened the file in read mode, infinite loop, then read line, it will read the first line, split it into words, access each and every word. Then if 2 in I dot lower, first of all it will convert it into lowercase, and then it will check whether 2 exists in lowercase or in this I or not. We have converted into lowercase because ignore case was written there. So if at all 2 is present, even embedded or non-embedded, it will increase the count by 1. Function F5 show it, so it will print 3, because I'll show you the file. This is the file. How many 2 are there? 1, 2 and 3. In this case it will print 3. So I hope ahead with 4 more programs. So the fifth program that I have to discuss is write a program to count total number of uppercase characters in a file. Means basically we have to read a file, and after reading a file we have to check whatever content is there. If the character is in uppercase, so it should count number of uppercase characters in a file. So this is the program. Count initially is 0. F is equal to open text1.txt. It will open the file in read mode. Whatever data is there in txt file, that text1 file, that will be read by this command. F.read will read the file. S is equal to F.read. This will read overall content of S. Now S will contain a string of whatever contents are there in the text file. So to access each and every character of a string, the command what we will use for I in S. For I in S, what it will do, it will access each and every character of a string. Now in this loop, I will have every time a new character from the file. If it will check if it is an uppercase character, then count will be incremented by 1. And after it finishes reading the file, that is after finishing reading the variable S, which contain all the contents of the file, it will print the number of characters. Suppose I am running this program, number of characters are 4. Now I'll show you the file. The file is at the same location where my program is, text1. You can see the text1. The file name I have written is text1. So you can see this is the file. File is a bunch of bytes. So you can see how many uppercase characters are there. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 uppercase characters are there. So it is printing number of uppercase characters are 4. So now I'll move ahead with the next program, that is question number 6. Write a program that copies one file to another. Have the program read the file names from the user. So in this program we have to open 2 files, one file in read mode, another file in write mode. So it should read one file, contents of one file, and copy it in another file. So you can see this is the program. Now it has what the question is saying, you have to take input from the user. Suppose I have written text1. Okay, I have written text1. That file does not exist. In that case, it will generate an error. So we have to check whether that file exists or not. This is not given in your textbook. So you should please pay attention that import os.path. OS is the module which we are importing, and in this os.path is a module which we are importing. After importing this, we will use exist function. This will check whether this file exists. os.path checks the path of this file, means whatever file 1 means whatever file name we are entering, that exists at the same location where this program is stored. So it will check the existence of file. If it is existing, then in that case it will open the file for reading. If does not exist, so it will print try again later. If the file exists, it will open the file for reading, and in second case means file that will be opened for writing. It doesn't matter if file does not exist, it will not generate an error, it will open a new file. So we don't have to check that file. So it will directly open a new file if file does not exist, and if the file exists, so contents will be deleted and the file will be overwritten. Then it will simply S is equal to f1.read, that is reading from the file 1, and then f2.write, writing into file S. In this way, please take care students that it is very necessary to close the file. See, when you are writing in the file, if you will not close it, in that case the data will not be flushed to the file. Now if I will not write file.close, in that case if I am trying to create a file and write in the file, it will not write anything. I'll show you. Suppose I will run this program, file.text1, I used it last time, text1.txt. Suppose I am creating file python.txt. So I have created two names. Now I'll just go to my folder, file handling. You can see text1 file is this one. This is the text1 file. All the content should be written. And now I will show you Python file. This file is created and you can see the file is empty. Now I'll show you the program. Now we'll go to the program. Here I'll write f1.close and f2.close. Again I'll run this program. Now text1.txt and python.txt. Now in this case you can see here python.txt is created and whatever content was there in text1, that is copied in the Python file. So it is mandatory to close the file which is opened for reading and writing also. See, reading, if you will not close it, it will automatically close it and it will retain its content. But if you are not writing it, you cannot see the contents which are written in the file. So please make sure that you close the file after reading writing into a file. Now the next program is almost same program that appends the content of one file to another. Means if the file exists, it should open the file, and append the content means whatever content was there, that should be retained, and further one or another content whatever we want to write should be written there. So it is the same, it's just like that previous program only. In this program we will take input from the user. See, if the file exists, it will open the file in read mode. The only twist is that I have checked the existence of second file also. Why I have checked? So that we can display a message. If the file exists, it will append the content. If it does not exist, it will open the file in write mode and print file does not exist and new file will open. See, if you are not doing this, if you are simply opening the file, like if you are removing this, if I am removing this and I am converting it into hash and opening this, in that case also this program will be perfectly okay, correct. The only thing is you will not be able to display the message if the file does not exist and opening a new file. So what I have done is I have taken the condition and written if the second file exists. In that case it will append the content. If it does not exist, it will open a new file and print the message that new file will open, and then single content whatever we want to write, it will write the content. So I'll run this program again. See, opening the file text1.txt, then opening the file for writing, suppose ss1.txt. So after this it will display the message txt1 does not exist, new file will open. Now I'll show you the file. Text1, content of text1 you already know. Now the contents of ss1. You can see the content. Now if I'll run again, I'll run this program again. You can see function f5 text1.txt, then writing के लिए ss1.txt, Now it has not displayed the message. It means because file exists and contents are appended. So you can see file handling. Again, the name of the file was ss1. So you can see the contents are appended, and these contents are displayed 2 times. You can see the appended contents from here. From here it is appended. So in this way we can check the existence of file in your path. The last question is, write a program to read characters from the keyboard one by one. Means we have to take input from the user, one character. Every time we have to enter one character and check whether the character is in uppercase, lowercase or special character. So if the character is in uppercase, it will write in upper named file. If it is in lowercase, it will write in lower named file, and other characters will be written in other named file. So this is the program. So I have opened the 3 files because no file is to be read. All 3 files should be written. ns is equal to 0 for infinite loop. I is equal to input enter character. So every time we are entering character, that will be entered in I. Then we will use if condition. If I dot is upper, if it is upper character, so it will write in upper file. For this, the file pointer is f2 dot write. If it is lower, it will write in f3 pointer. Through f3 pointer, it will write in lower dot txt. If any other character, so it will write in other. Enter 0 to continue for infinite loop, which I have explained you several times. I'll run this program. Suppose character w, 0 to continue. Suppose character small w, 0 to continue. Suppose hash special character, 0 to continue. Suppose t, enter 0 to continue. Suppose %. So these are the characters. Now I'll see the output in the file. Enter 0 to continue. I'm writing suppose 3, so it will come out of the program. Now I'll show you the files. You can see the file lower. Only one character was there of lowercase. Upper, 2 characters were there, W and T. And then others, I have used hash. You can see hash and %. 2 characters were there. In this way, it will create 3 files and read contents from the keyboard and write in the respective file based on whether it already I covered in my last videos. So now the next program is write a program to display the longest line in a file. So children, whenever you see the question, you have to first of all identify that what command you are going to use when it is written longest line. It means you have to use either read line or read lines. Now if you will use read line, so last line is blank line, as I already told you. So you have to see what command you are going to use. So I'll show you how you will do this. So either read lines you can use or read line you can, or both the things are correct. So you have to see the longest line in the file. So longest line means in which the number of characters are more. So you can see here I have opened the file and you can see str contains the file. Str contains the line, first line, and then we are considering it as a longest line. Max is a variable that will hold the length of this string. Obviously the longest line will have the maximum length. So initially this is not needed at okay. This s is used to store that line, because ultimately at the end you have to display the longest line. Length you don't have to display, but you have to display the line. So we will keep the two records, the length of the line and the longest line. Now while str, at least one time it will execute, because s is read by the by this particular command. So str is equal to f1 dot read line. It will read this second line, find the length of line, and it will check with the maximum value. That is the first line. If the length is more, so obviously s will change and maximum value will change. In this way, these two variables will change according to the length of the lines. Finally, when it will complete reading it, at the last it will print the longest line is, and then finally the line which is stored in str. So first of all, I'll show you the file. The file name is text1.txt. This is the file. So you can see here the longest line is this one. So it should print only this line. So I'll run this program, function F5. So you can see the longest line is, data files can be stored in two ways. In this way we can write this program. Now the next program, that is question number 10. It is the write a program that takes a character as input from the user and check the number of occurrences of character file. Means basically you have to read the whole file, and we have to take input from the user one character and check how many times that character has occurred. Again, looking at the program, you can easily identify that you have to read the whole file. Whole file means you can use read function to read the whole file together, and then you can check one character at a time. So this is the program. See, I have taken input, opened the file. str contains the whole content. Count initially is 0, which will keep the track of character. Character input, enter character. This char will have the character for which the occurrences is to be measured. For I in str, in this I will be one character at a time. For I in str, str is a string. String means all the content which is stored in the file, that will be in str, and we have to use each and every character. It means that I will have each and every character. If I is equal to char, count plus is equal to 1. It will compare whether this character is equal to the character entered by the user. So in this, if it is there, it will count, it will increase the count by 1. Print is not needed. Afterwards we can finally print character has occurred count times. That is the actual count for which that character has occurred. First of all, I'll show you the file. Same file, text1.txt. You can see here, this is the file. Suppose I'll enter F. So how many F are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we'll see now. So I'll run this program. Function F5, enter the character. Suppose I am entering F. So F has occurred 5 times in a file, which is the correct answer. So the next program is the 11th program. That is the program to search the record of a person having age more than 30, and records are in the form name, occupation and age. Means after leaving some space, there is occupation, first of all name and then occupation, and then after space there is age. So this can be done in this way. Again, obviously the record will be in single line. So here we will use read lines. We will not use read line, because if we will use read line, it will read one by one line at a time. In that case, the last line will be the blank line, because read line, when it encounters end of file character, it take it as end \n, that is a new line. So here when we are splitting it, first I'll explain read lines, then you will easily understand. Suppose I have taken it as a read lines here. Now for line in S means read lines is a list of all the lines. One line is the one element of the list. So in line we will get the first element of the list, means the first string we will get, first line we will get. We are going to split that line. Now here if we will use read line and try to split it, in that case the last line will be the blank line. It will not have this x2. x2 means the name is the first name is the first. When we are converting, when we are using split, it will be converted into list of words. First word will be the name, second word will be occupation, and third word will be age. So when we are using x2, when it will use read line and encounter the last line, that is the empty line, in that case this will generate error, that is out of index range error, because in that list there will not be any element. That is why I have used here read lines. In this case read line will not work. So if int x2 means this element, this name will be the first element, 0 element, occupation will be for 1 element, and age will be 2 element. So we are converting it into integer value because we are comparing it with 30, and 30 is a integer value, and whatever we are storing in text file is the string value. So we have to use explicit typecasting and convert it into integer value, and if it is greater than 30 it will print it. So function, first of all I'll show you the word file, that is text file. See, these are the records. So what should be displayed? 2 records should be displayed, that is Robert and Tim. 2 records should be displayed. So I'll just run this function F5, name, occupation, you can see the 2 records are displayed. Now the last program is, this is the program to print the statistics of the given file, that is number of lines in a file, the number of empty lines in a file, and average characters per line and average characters per empty line. So lines, so obviously you can count the number of lines by using read lines and then finding the length. Empty line, you have to find whether nothing is there in that particular line, then it is an empty line. Average character per line means number of characters upon number of lines. So that is total number of characters upon total number of lines, that is average characters per line. Similarly, average character per empty lines is total number of characters upon total number of empty lines. So this is the program, and record, I have used the same record notepad file. In this, suppose I am using 2 empty lines here and I'm using 3 empty lines, suppose. So now it has to evaluate it. So I have opened the file for reading, str, just to for infinite loop, or you can, if you want, you can delete it. It's not needed because we are using read lines, we are not using read line. So str will contain the list of complete file. Complete file means it will contain the list of lines in the file. So number of characters, initially we are considering it as 0, and print number of lines in a file, length of this particular length of str means this list, whatever the length is, that is number of line. So now we are trying to access each and every line, that is each and every element of this list. Then characters, we have to count the characters. So number of characters is equal to length of this particular line. This will count total number of characters in the file, and if empty will keep the track of number of lines. If line is a new line, if it will encounter the blank line, obviously it will read it as \n, that is a new line character. So it will increase the value of empty by 1. Finally, it will print number of empty lines, then average characters, and then average characters per empty lines. Function F5 you can see here. So length, number of files, number of lines, this is 7, number of empty lines, it was 3. I entered 3 empty lines in front of you only, and then average characters per line and average characters per empty line. You can see average characters per line can be number of characters upon number of lines, and average characters per empty line will be total number of characters upon number of empty line. So these are some important programs that are usually asked in board exam. So in my next video, I'll